So, next question here. Am I the asshole for thinking my husband was sexualizing our daughter? Let's get into this. My husband and I have a daughter who's 13 years old. I was molested from the time I was 12 up until he accidentally got me pregnant at 15. And I went to live with my aunt by my own father. So this person was molested by her father, and from the age of 12 till 15.
Wow.
And she went to live with her aunt. I have a lot of unresolved trauma, but because of this trauma, I was very on top of changing my daughter. My husband rarely changed a diaper, gave her baths, and was wary about leaving. And I was wary about leaving them alone together, even though my husband never gave me a reason to. I stole a lot from my husband, which is when I agreed to finally go to therapy after 9 years, and I was in it for a few years. A few days ago, my daughter asked my husband and I if we thought she could get some more adult underwear. She said the girls in her locker room were looking at her weird for her childish underwear. I said no, but my husband thought maybe it was time for her to upgrade her wardrobe. This triggered me, and when my daughter left the room, I asked him why he thought it was okay to buy our daughter adult underwear and told him not to make decisions about our daughter's underwear. He got upset and said she was in middle school now and he didn't want her to be bullied and that I couldn't start this again. He then said I needed to stop thinking of him as a monster because he's her father and not my dad. And that if these episodes were going to start again, I needed to go back to therapy. I feel as though knowing him knowing my trauma, he shouldn't get so angry and demand me to go back to therapy. I have every right to be cautious. Am I the asshole? Let's start with a yes or no.
Is she an asshole?
Mm-hmm. So basically, to kind of sum it up,
Yeah.
she said, "I have this trauma because I was by my father." That's a very key note in this story, which is actually so sad and tragic. SubhanAllah, I feel so sorry for this woman. But she says that she sees her husband she essentially is saying that she sees her husband in a weird negative way because of that trauma, right? And it's now affecting how they're raising their daughter, right? So yes, I think she's the asshole, but the reason why I'm hesitant to kind of say that is because I feel like this person needs like a real significant amount of help to kind of cope with these issues. These are definitely problems that she hasn't 100% either addressed or gotten past, So she needs to definitely spend some time focusing on her mental health, and that will definitely help their relationship grow in the future. But in this situation itself, the only reason why I'm saying I'm hesitant to call this person an asshole, I wouldn't use that term, but I think that they are not right in this situation, basically. But I want to hear your thoughts.
I'm very much on the same wavelength as you. Like, do I think she's an asshole? No. Do I think she's wrong in the situation? 100%. Like, I totally get trauma. Trauma, especially from a young age, when anything, you're vulnerable, and the person who you trusted the most took advantage of you, it can leave some lasting effects on your mental health and just your growth as an individual, right?
Yeah.
So I totally get where she's coming from, wanting to protect her daughter from her distrust from men, right? And by all means, I totally understand. But subhanAllah, something I really do believe in is, from their relationship, he's been there long enough to develop some form of a trust, right? I totally get it at the beginning when you are getting to know somebody, that you're very cautious around them because you don't want the same thing to happen to your daughter that happened to you, right?
To this point, yeah.
Like, you would feel like a failure as a mom if you put your daughter through something because of like a person that you brought into her life, right? Like, I think it was justified up until a certain point in their relationship, and then to this thing, like he's from, just, of course they give very surface level information, right?
Yeah.
But just based off of that conversation, like just that post, it seems like he did nothing to give her any distrust at all, right? And this underwear situation, it's not like it was brought to his attention, like he didn't bring it up to the upfront, right? It was something that the girl it was an insecurity that she had, that people in her age group were having different underwear, right? And he was giving his opinion, like, as if it was, do I think it was kind of weird for him to maybe give his opinion? Possibly.
Why? Wait, what? Can we dissect that real quick? Why?
Well,
He's her father.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But I said kind of weird. It's not. I think he should still have his input. It's not like she went to the mother alone, right?
Yeah, she
They
went
went
to
to both
both.
of them,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it's justified for both of them to give their opinion, right?
Mhm.
But maybe, like we were talking about this earlier. Maybe it's something that maybe since it's a woman clothing item, maybe it's more appropriate for the mother to have an input initially,
I get that.
and then maybe the father be like, "Oh, I second that," or "I disagree with that," right?
Okay,
You know, maybe because maybe he was the primary decision maker, right? He was like, "Yeah,
maybe
we'll get you something," you
maybe
know?
he was the voice of reason in that conversation,
Sure,
and she
yeah,
didn't like that, you
yeah,
know. But
fair.
like to like another tidbit about this story is that while I was reading it, she mentioned that she stole from him
Yeah, I didn't
years
understand that.
ago,
That
you
was
know.
so bizarre.
So like she definitely she probably has some kind of, or he probably has some kind of trust issues with her
Hmm.
about her mental stability or like her mental condition at the time, and is telling her, yo, basically in short, he's basically saying, yo, this is another one of those episodes. We need to get this figured out, and she's now feeling attacked by that,
Hmm.
you know. So I feel like that's why she's asking, am I the asshole? But then again, like she said it herself, he told her he doesn't want her to see him as some kind of a monster to his
Yeah,
daughter. You know
like
what I
come
mean?
on, man.
And you know, to look at it from her perspective too, like she has issues with her father,
Hmm.
right? Her father is the one that put her in this like
Situation.
traumatic, yeah,
Yeah,
the traumatic situation she's in now. So she has a view of what fatherhood can become, you
that's a
know?
good point. Yeah.
So like she I feel like she's very terrified of the father daughter relationship
Hmm.
becoming like close because she's had this trauma with her
Fair,
father.
fair,
You know what I
fair.
mean? So
Yeah.
like that's one of the reasons. But to be honest with you, the underlying message I have for these people, or like the only thing I could say as advice to them, is seek help immediately,
Hmm.
because your daughter is gonna suffer from it, your husband is gonna suffer from it, and the person who's writing the post is gonna suffer from
They
it
already
too.
look like they suffered from
Yeah,
it.
so like you definitely need to understand at that point, you know, it might be like, and I'm saying this just not knowing any context or the person or people
Hmm.
that are involved, but like it's probably very, very difficult to take yourself out of that situation, talking about the person who wrote the post, and kind of see things from a third person perspective because of all the trauma, right?
Facts. Yeah.
Which is why I'm saying at least be open to the idea of seeking help. You know, it doesn't have to be that you're wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but at least try and figure out professionally, medically, what's wrong with you and address that, you know?
Hmm.
Because if you know that this is not a natural way of thinking
Hmm.
towards somebody who has done nothing wrong, then there's a problem there,
Facts,
you know?
and to the point where I think I understand where she's coming from, but if anything, I think he should be the one who has a little bit of trust issues because wasn't she the one that stole from him
Yeah,
initially? Like, if anything, I think he's being such a amazing person, being willing to be there for somebody, going through
100%.
their different episodes,
That
and
guy is a very commendable person,
yeah,
champion
mashallah.
human being, mashallah. Like the fact that he's in that situation, doing as much as he
Hmm.
can, is so respectable. But there's so many men on this planet that would just
Just
turn away from that
yeah, like you stole
immediately.
from me, get the hell out of my
Like,
house, you know?
not even that, like just the trauma that she has, you know, like
Facts, yeah,
they
that too.
wouldn't, most people wouldn't want to burden themselves, or they'll feel like that would be a burden on their lives, but he's taking it head on. So
Facts, yeah,
he's somebody he's doing his part to the T, in my
yeah.
opinion, you know, based off what we know.
Ultimately, I don't. I think none of them are assholes, but I
Mhm.
think there needs to be a lot of groundwork done because clearly she's still suffering from her past experiences, and I think
Mhm.
she needs to, to your point,
Mhm.
seek help in whatever avenue that gets them together. Because he's a good dude.
Yeah.
Why are you not trusting this guy? You know, like
And,
I understand where you're coming from and all the distrust you have, but
mhm.
at no point did he ever give you any indication that he's not a good human being.
And another tidbit too to add on top of this would be this: their child is just entering an age where
That too, yeah.
they're gonna become more, you know, like they're gonna have more of these questions. They're gonna have more of these life aspects that turn them from a
Hmm.
child to an adult, and they're gonna need like they're gonna need a solid foundation at home
Hmm.
to be able to navigate life accordingly. You know,
Facts,
so.
yeah.
This is not the first instance of this, in my opinion. It's going to be one of many from here on out. So I would really suggest that they seek help immediately.